Two of the most beloved female characters in all of gaming, Clementine and Ellie, two characters who face a zombie apocalypse but in two different variations, yet have similar stories. Two who were raised by a father alone. Who was the better character? Who would win in a fight? Is two questions that will be answered in today's video. Let's get right into it. I'll be measuring the two by 5 categories: background, development, complexity, impact, and survival. Before we get into today's video, I would appreciate if you guys gave this video a like and subscribe to the channel so I can continue to make content for you guys. Let's get right into it. The first aspect is background and early childhood. Clementine was an 8-year-old girl in the beginning of the Walking Dead outbreak. She was found at her treehouse after a babysitter died by a man named Lee. This man was an important figure in her life going forward. Lee put Clementine under his care. Clementine informs Lee that her parents are in Savannah and she hopes that they are still alive and wants to search for them any chance they get. It's clear that Clementine still has innocence throughout the first 2 episodes, as she still trusts the John Derry family. We know this because she is about to eat the food that we later find out is cannibal food, and they told them it was animal meat. Despite this, Clementine displays a higher level of maturity than other kids in her age group. She is different than Duck, as Clementine, although she plays with Duck, when it comes to understanding when it's time to be serious and ready, she is there, unlike other kids her age. Clementine still shows her inner child as she falls for one of the villains in the game's tactics. The guy on the phone is someone you later meet after Lee gets bit. Clementine meets her greatest fear in her life at that time. She finds her parents after Lee and her make it to Savannah, but at this point her parents are zombies. Clementine, who wished to find her parents, found them in a state she never wanted to see them. This all happened at the same time Lee was on the verge of dying. Clementine had to witness the death of her parents and Lee's death in the same day, a crucial moment in her development going forward. In season 2 of The Walking Dead, Clementine is 11 years old. She is with the last of the original season 1 group, which consisted of Krista and Omid. Omid had a very quick death in the game, I believe the first 15 minutes of the game, and then Krista gets possibly killed by a group of rebels, which we never find out throughout the series. This leaves Clementine alone once again. Clementine meets a dog who she originally likes and calls him Sam. This wholesome moment is short-lived. Clementine and the dog are on very limited food supply. After Clementine feeds the dog some of the beans, the dog gets greedy and bites her arm. This leads to Clementine having no choice but to kill the dog. Clementine passes out when she is introduced to a new group. The group disagrees on whether Clementine is bit or not. This is where Clementine has one of her most iconic moments.
You all right?
I'm still not bitten. I never was. And you left me out here to die.
Fast forward, the moment Clementine decides to watch Kenny kill Carver showcases that she is becoming more desensitized to the violence. The end of season 2 has a crucial decision that Clementine has to make. After the fight between Kenny and Jane, the player can decide whether to have Clementine go alone and find Wellington or stay with Kenny or Jane. In contrast, Ellie's backstory is quite different. In the beginning of The Last of Us Part 1, she is already 14 years old, which is obviously different because we didn't get to witness her in her early childhood like Clementine. Based on some evidence in the game and some from the wiki, Ellie's mother name is Anna, and Anna was affected with the cordyceps fungus while she was pregnant with Ellie, making Ellie somewhat immune. We know that Ellie's real mom left her a knife before she passed, which Ellie kept all the way until the end of the second game with her fight with Abby. Ellie grew up an orphan inside the military quarantine zone in Boston. This is where Ellie developed her survival skills and combat skills. Ellie grew up with a close friend named Riley. It is clear that Ellie looked up to Riley as Riley was a free thinker, she was courageous, and she had great survival skills. Ellie's childhood friend comes to an end, as she and Riley both got bit whilst trying to survive a zombie horde. This part explains a huge change in the game. This is when Ellie realizes that she is immune. For background, I definitely have to give it to Clementine. Even though Clementine wasn't the main character in season 1, we still got to see her grow up from the age of 8, compared to Ellie being 14 even in Left Behind, a prequel to The Last of Us Part 1. Clementine has a 1-0 lead in the series. Next is development. After the events of season 2, Clementine has changed. The first time we meet Clementine in A New Frontier, she's immediately on timing. Huge contrast from her in season 2 and season 1. At this point in time, Clementine is around 14 years old, and Clementine has already had a hard time trusting people after losing the most important people to her. Regardless of what ending you chose in The Walking Dead season 2, Clementine ends up alone with AJ. Clementine's life becomes centered around AJ, and AJ getting taken by the New Frontier plays a huge role in how she approaches people going forward. She lost her cool when she saw David for the first time since the New Frontier kicked her out. The New Frontier had us play from a different perspective, as we don't play as Clementine throughout the game as we played as Javier. Through this, you're able to see how much Clementine yearns for AJ, but she is still able to keep her composure and not let herself go. When she finds out that AJ is alive when David told her, she lit up. She had found purpose once again. When Clementine finds AJ once again at the end of season 3, she changes to a more parental role again, which is important for the rest of the game. Through Joel's leadership and death added a lot to Ellie's character development. Ellie in part 1 got taken to Jackson to meet with Tommy through Joel. She slowly becomes more independent as she learns to hunt alone in the woods and later on saving Joel's life. She also kept Joel and herself safe after he got hurt. First key event in Ellie's life that changed her was the betrayal of David. David was a guy that her and Joel met after trying to escape from zombies. David came off as a helpful person, but deep down he had strange desires. He had motives to do things to Ellie that I cannot speak of on this channel, but I'm sure you guys get the gist of it. This is also where Ellie gets her second human kill. In this scene, Ellie relentlessly batters David down as he tries to make advances towards her. It's safe to say that in this scene, Ellie shows that she has fully lost her innocence and sees the brutal reality of the world she lives in.
You're such an asshole.
I'm not trying to.
I was supposed to die in that hospital. My life would have fucking mattered.
Another key part in Ellie's life was the dynamic between her and Joel after she found out that he didn't let the procedure get done on her. Ellie from the second game is like a completely different person. A key contributor is the death of Joel. Even though they were on good terms, despite this, obviously Ellie cared about him a lot. Throughout the second game, Ellie became more like Joel than herself, which led to her losing a lot of people in her life and being all alone at the end of the game. Clementine has the more interesting development and easier to understand. I feel like Clementine's development is more likable for this point. For this part, I have to give it to Clementine. Clementine has a 2-0 lead in the comparison. Next topic is complexity. Clementine's complexity begins in her childhood. Clementine learns that it's good to take care of others, but your survival comes first. She learns this from Lee after the St. John Dairy situation. This showcased to her that even the nicest people can have sinister intentions. Clementine had to adapt from being innocent to having to kill Lee at the age of 9 years old. This leads Clementine to start making decisions based on what she deems is right. Since Telltale is a decision-based game, it's also difficult to directly compare the two in terms of choices. If you initially chose to completely leave Kenny and Jane, then you made Clementine an even more dependent person. This ending causes her and AJ to completely be alone. Despite this, Clementine loses both of them eventually. Clementine becomes much similar to Lee throughout the game, despite the trauma throughout her life. Clementine becomes much similar to Lee despite all the trauma she's been through in her life. Even after everything that happened in season 3, where she became very much a loner and staying away from people for the most part. As AJ got older, Clementine became a good parent as well, beginning to trust people again after AJ and her got into many close calls. Even after finding out Marlon was lying to her and the rest of the group, Clementine still gave him the benefit of the doubt and didn't think he deserved to die. Clementine also made it a big thing to teach AJ the many things that Lee taught her as well. Clementine's growth throughout the game was an amazing sight to see and is one of the reasons I love the series personally. On the other hand, Ellie's complexity is harder to understand. It's the reason many people hate Ellie and many people love Ellie. Ellie finding out that she was immune actually did more harm than good. Ellie finding out Riley and other people she loved died, but she didn't because she was immune, caused her to have survivor's guilt. According to Oxford Dictionary, survivor's guilt is a condition of persistent mental and emotional stress experienced by someone who has survived an incident in which others died. This is what caused Ellie to be fully upset with Joel. Whether she was old enough to truly understand is up for debate, but Ellie wanted to be sacrificed for the greater good of the community and the world.
Please stop! Please don't shoot! Joel, please get up! No!
This anger takes a devastating pause though. After Joel was ruthlessly killed by Abby in front of Ellie's eyes, this causes a trip in Ellie's psyche. Not only did Ellie spend months on end chasing Abby, she also killed almost all of Abby's close friends. Ellie's rage is shown the most when she brutally kills Nora. During this scene, you can see in Ellie's eyes that she isn't really built for this. She is just too suffocated in the rage. The scene when she returns back to the theater showcases her true feelings on the situation she's in. After the fight between Abby and Ellie in the theater, which ends in Ellie losing brutally, Dina decides that they should move far away, and Dina has a child. Ellie ditches a life of peace despite having a lot of trauma. This trauma caused Ellie to go back for Abby once again. The most important sign of growth inside of Ellie was in the final fight between her and Abby.
No. Just take him.
Even though at that point Abby was starved and weak, Ellie still wanted to fight and had a chance to kill her. Ellie realizes that Abby has moved on from the situation and is now taking care of a little boy. It's safe to say Ellie saw herself inside of that little boy and thought of everything that her and Joel had went through and putting herself in their shoes. Contrast to many people being upset at the ending, Ellie letting Abby live is the right ending and shows Ellie's growth. Clementine is a complex character, but I feel like comparing Ellie and Clementine's complexity is tricky. Clementine is a complex character, but I feel like Clementine's character is meant to be more likable. Ellie's character is led by a personal opinion on whether you agree with her way of life or not, as well as how you determine her growth, because The Last of Us isn't a choice game. I will be giving the point to Ellie, but it's a tough choice here. Ellie scores her first point in this comparison. Clementine keeps her 2-1 lead. The next topic is impact. For this criteria, I will be breaking down impact as impact towards the people around them inside of the game and impact to the whole world in general. And their verse, of course. Clementine had a great impact inside of the Walking Dead franchise. She is the one that gave Lee motivation in life. In season 2, Clementine played a large role in helping the group escape Carver, as well as helping Rebecca take care of AJ before she passed and further on. Clementine season 3 also helped Javier in a crucial way, similar to the dynamic with her and Lee. Clementine was sort of a mentor to Javi, and she had more experience than him, and he looked towards her for guidance in his life. She also helped Javi find his family and keep them safe when Joan was taking over the New Frontier. Clementine also played a role of a leader after a corrupt leader, Marlon, was killed by AJ. Clementine showed the boarding school kids a true way to live life and how to be a true leader and care for others. You can see the direct impact Clementine had on people depending on if you chose to let AJ kill Lily. This directly correlates to if he shoots 10 or not. Overall, Clementine had a positive impact for the most part. Ellie's impact is much different from Clementine's. Ellie never truly became a parent inside of the Last of Us series. I definitely think that her impact was greater. Now, first, I want you guys to hear me out. Ellie being known as the one immune person in the world almost immediately gives her the impact point. But I'm gonna be fair and not use that as my only reason. Ellie turned a distraught and savage Joel into a caring person. Kinda. What I mean by this is Ellie gave Joel a sense of purpose again after his daughter Sarah died. Joel realized what the Fireflies were trying to do to Ellie and saw her as more than just a bargaining chip. Ellie wanted to be sacrificed to potentially save the world as well, even if it meant that it would take her life. Even though it didn't actually happen, I still have to include it as a hypothetical because that's what she wanted. So she could have had a very positive impact on the world. Ellie in the second game, though, definitely had an impact, just not a good impact. Ellie murked the entire wolf base and was a huge wanted suspect in California and Washington. Ellie's negative impact, you could say, was caused by people trying to attack her and people killing Joel, which is justifiable, but is up for debate. Ellie did leave a bad taste in Dina's mouth after she abandoned them. For impact, I have to give it to Ellie. Not all impact needs to be good, but for my criteria, Ellie had a larger impact on the world compared to Clementine. I do still think that Clementine had a more positive impact though. Ellie ties up the series 2-2. Final category is survival. It is no surprise that Clementine is an amazing survivor. She was able to survive years alone with AJ by herself at the ripe age of 12 years old. She also learned many survival techniques from Jane, such as kicking walkers in the leg first and also taking their jaw off when you're trying to walk with them. Clementine knows all the fundamentals from Lee and observing others. She also knows how to get through hordes from Jane by using walker blood and pitting it all over herself. The difference between Clementine and Ellie here is the zombies they're going against. You all know that the zombies in The Walking Dead are mad slow because they're dead, of course. But the zombies in The Last of Us, which are also known as the Affected, they're still alive and they also have human strength as well as some of them having superhuman strength like bloaters and clickers. This automatically makes Ellie a better survivor. The fact she is still alive after all these years of dealing with that says a lot. Not only this, but Ellie grew up in a military camp, so she also has an advantage over Clementine. Survival goes to Ellie, in my opinion. Clementine and Ellie both have the fundamentals, but Ellie has faced tougher competition, and Ellie would definitely beat Clementine in the fight just based off their verse. Clementine and Ellie have similar builds, both standing at 5'5" and about 110 pounds, so it's pretty even, but if we're being realistic, Ellie definitely has the advantage. Now listen, y'all. I wanted to hear y'all out on the complexity and impact because I feel like that is up for debate because that can go both ways. Ellie wins this battle for me though with a 3-2 score. Feel free to leave your thoughts down below and other debates y'all would like to see. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe and comment for more videos from me. Is Enoch out. See y'all in the next one. Peace out.